In the affluent suburbs of Atlanta, a millionaire entrepreneur returned home unexpectedly to a scene that shattered his world. His wife, enraged, was physically assaulting the young black daughter of their longtime housekeeper. The incident, caught on a home security camera, exposed raw tensions in the household and led to a response from the businessman that no one could have predicted, a response that challenged societal norms, unraveled his marriage, and sparked a broader conversation about privilege and justice. This was the moment that redefined James Whittaker's legacy, as he took decisive action to protect the vulnerable and confront the consequences of his wife's actions. James Whittaker, a 48-year-old tech mogul, had built his fortune through a logistics software company that revolutionized supply chain management. His sprawling mansion in Buckhead was a testament to his success, complete with a staff that included Maria Thompson, a dedicated housekeeper who had worked with the family for over a decade. Maria's 14-year-old daughter, Kayla, often accompanied her mother to work during school breaks, helping with small tasks and studying in the kitchen. The Whittakers, James, his wife Elizabeth, and their 2 teenage sons, had always seemed like a picture-perfect family. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. On a humid Tuesday afternoon, James decided to leave his downtown office early, hoping to surprise Elizabeth with dinner plans. He arrived home just after 2 p.m., expecting a quiet house. Instead, he heard raised voices coming from the kitchen as he entered through the garage. Elizabeth's sharp tone cut through the air, followed by a cry that sent a chill down his spine. James hurried toward the sound, his heart racing. When he reached the kitchen, he froze. Elizabeth was standing over Kayla, who was curled up on the floor, clutching her side. Maria stood nearby, her face a mix of fear and fury, restrained by the power dynamics of her position. Elizabeth's voice was venomous as she berated Kayla, accusing her of stealing a piece of jewelry. "You think you can just take whatever you want," she shouted, delivering another kick to Kayla's leg. James's voice boomed through the room. "Elizabeth, stop." He rushed forward, placing himself between his wife and Kayla. Elizabeth turned, her face flushed with anger, but her expression shifted to shock when she saw James. "James, you're home," she stammered. "This girl stole my necklace. I caught her in our bedroom." James looked at Kayla, who was trembling but uninjured beyond bruises. He turned to Maria, whose eyes were filled with tears. "Maria, is Kayla okay?" he asked. Maria nodded, her voice shaking. "She didn't steal anything, Mr. Whittaker. She was helping me clean." Mrs. Whittaker just started yelling. James helped Kayla to her feet, his mind racing. He knew Elizabeth had a temper, but this was beyond anything he had witnessed. He turned to his wife. "We have cameras, Elizabeth. I'm going to check them. Stay here." He accessed the home security system from his phone, pulling up the kitchen footage. The video was clear. Kayla had been wiping down counters when Elizabeth stormed in, accusing her without evidence. The confrontation escalated quickly, with Elizabeth shoving Kayla to the ground and kicking her. There was no indication of theft, just a baseless outburst rooted in prejudice. James's face hardened. He called Maria aside and assured her that Kayla would be safe. He then dialed his lawyer, instructing him to prepare legal documents. Turning to Elizabeth, he spoke with a calm that belied his anger. "You're leaving this house tonight. I won't tolerate this." Elizabeth's eyes widened. "You're taking their side? She's a thief." "The cameras don't lie," James said. "You assaulted a child. This isn't about sides. It's about right and wrong." Within hours, James had arranged for Elizabeth to stay at a hotel while he consulted his attorney about next steps. He personally drove Maria and Kayla to a nearby clinic to ensure Kayla was unharmed, covering all medical expenses. Maria, still shaken, expressed her gratitude but also her fear of losing her job. James reassured her, "Your job is secure, Maria. This isn't your fault." That evening, James sat down with his sons, Ethan and Liam, both in high school. He explained what had happened, showing them the security footage to ensure transparency. Ethan, 17, was outraged, while Liam, 15, struggled to process his mother's actions. James was honest. "Your mother made a terrible mistake, and there will be consequences. But we're a family, and we'll get through this." The next morning, James called a meeting with his household staff, apologizing for the incident and promising changes. He increased Maria's salary and offered to pay for Kayla's college applications, recognizing her academic potential. He also hired a counselor to help Kayla process the trauma and ensure Maria had access to legal support if she chose to press charges. Word of the incident spread quickly through Atlanta's elite circles. Some praised James for his swift action, while others whispered that he was overreacting to protect his public image. Elizabeth's friends rallied to her defense, claiming she had been under stress and that Kayla must have provoked her. James ignored the noise, focusing on accountability. He filed for divorce within days, citing irreconcilable differences and Elizabeth's actions as the breaking point. The legal process was swift, given his resources, and Elizabeth received a settlement but lost any claim to the family home. James ensured that Ethan and Leah maintained contact with their mother, but made it clear that her behavior was unacceptable. The incident prompted James to reflect on his own privilege. He had built a successful company, but he had been blind to the microaggressions Maria and Kayla likely faced daily. He met with Maria privately, asking about her experiences working for the family. Maria hesitated, but eventually shared instances of Elizabeth's dismissive comments and subtle biases over the years. James listened, taking notes to ensure he understood the full scope. Determined to make a broader impact, James used his platform as a CEO to address workplace discrimination. He implemented mandatory diversity training at his company, Whitaker Logistics, and established a scholarship fund for underrepresented students in tech, naming it after Kayla. He also reached out to local community leaders, offering to fund programs that supported Black youth in Atlanta. Kayla, though initially shaken, showed remarkable resilience. With James's support, she returned to school, excelling in her studies. Maria, empowered by James's actions, became an advocate for domestic workers, speaking at local events about fair treatment and workplace rights. The story gained national attention when a local journalist published an article about the incident based on interviews with Maria and community members. The headline, "Millionaire Takes Stand Against Wife's Assault on Maid's Daughter," sparked debates on social media. Some praised James as a hero. Others criticized him for airing private matters publicly. James remained unfazed, stating in an interview, "This isn't about me. It's about doing what's right for Kayla, Maria, and anyone else who's been treated unjustly." Over the next year, James's company saw a surge in applications from diverse candidates, drawn by its commitment to inclusion. His sons, initially struggled with the family's upheaval, began volunteering at community centers, inspired by their father's actions. Elizabeth, meanwhile, faced social ostracism and eventually moved to another state, where she sought therapy to address her behavior. James never regretted his decision. He maintained a close relationship with Maria and Kayla, inviting them to company events as honored guests. Kayla, now a high school junior, spoke at a Whitaker Logistics gala, thanking James for believing in her. "You didn't just protect me," she said. "You showed me that I matter." The incident became a turning point for James, his family, and his company. It exposed uncomfortable truths, but also opened doors to change. James's reaction, swift, decisive, and rooted in justice, challenged those around him to confront their own biases and take action. In Atlanta and beyond, his story became a reminder that privilege comes with responsibility, and one moment can redefine a legacy.